Welcome to the WAN Sports Live Briefs. For the very first time, we have a very special guest. Unfortunately, my cousin Big J, my partner in crime, could not make it today. But we're very kind to have someone fill in today. A good friend of mine, Hubert Chan. I've known him for many, many years. And the reason why we have him on is because he's really the number one NBA fanatic that I know. You know, I know people that know their NBA stuff, but me personally, this is the guy here that's really, when I have any questions about the National Basketball Association when it comes to the NBA League Pass, or, we go back and forth on some trades during fantasy season, see what can work, what we can do. This is my partner in crime. Hubert, welcome to the WAN Sports Live Briefs, and glad to have you, man. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, Edgar, thank you so much for the kind intro. Thank you for having me on, and I'm doing good right now. Obviously had an awesome season in fantasy basketball with you and the guys. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little more. But obviously right now, play-in is going on in the NBA and leading up to the playoffs. So really exciting time to be a seasoned NBA fan, but even, a fresh NBA fan, get into the playoffs. It's exciting time.
You're an Orlando Magic fan. Before we kind of dive into it, I want you to kind of, let us know your love for the Orlando Magic team. Maybe just a quick, summary of how that happened. And then we can dive into these playoffs.
Raised in Orlando. I remember, those rumblings in the 80s of like, oh man, Orlando might get a basketball team. Really exciting. And then obviously, they had that big unveiling and, they called it the Orlando Magic, and obviously really fit because obviously Orlando so known for Disney World and, hey, basketball, Magic for sure. On my 8th birthday, one of a close friend of the family got me, a nice little 12-inch TV. And I was like, perfect. Well, this is, 1988. This is the olden days. But, got that TV, turned it on, and you just get those, local broadcast channels. But what was always on was sports, right? So I remember watching, Joe Montana and the 49ers play football. I remember watching, Braves games on there. But the big one was watching like Michael Jordan play basketball, just beating everybody. And it just really turned me on to the game. I think the next big moment for me was in high school. I worked the Haagen-Dazs stand in the Orlando Magic arena. And so, typically for those who go to games at arenas like that, the concessions wrap up before the end of the game, right? So I would, work really hard, wrap up the concession stand, ice cream, clean it all up, and then boom, I'd book it to somewhere to watch as much of the game as I could. The best time I had, though, no joke, was obviously Orlando Magic, won a #1 draft pick. They drafted Shaquille O'Neal. So instead of going into one of the causeways to watch the game next to an usher, I went to the hallway, where they come up the tunnel. And I stood there, boom, buzzer goes, game is over, and Shaq is walking down the tunnel. And I'm like, this is a massive person, like huge. And I hold my hand up to give him a big high five. The dude just puts his palm on my face and covers my entire face with just the palm of his hand. It was awesome. And that's not the only time I saw him, but that was like a big, big moment for me. And it solidified my love for the Orlando Magic.
Well, let's begin talking NBA playoffs. Hubert, how do you want to do this, man? Do we want to start from the West? Do we want to start in the East? Do we want to go back and forth? Should we just go top to bottom how they have it here? I'll let you decide.
Let's just go straight from the top, straight down.
Denver Nuggets, and what a coincidence. Hubert is currently living in Colorado. Talking about the Denver Nuggets, there is some controversy here that I've been reading on about Jokic. I saw a little podcast with DeMarcus Cousins saying, like, should we be giving Jokic all this credit, or, do we put him up there as one of the greatest of all times, even though he hasn't won an NBA Finals? So that really got me to thinking, And I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but I would love to kind of hear your perspective on that and just your thoughts on this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just like you said, number one seeded in the West here with the Denver Nuggets, and it starts and ends with the Joker. Obviously, hey, props to you, Edgar. I had the number one pick in the NBA Fantasy League XBA, and you were like, Hubert, there's no reason you're not going to pick Joker first, right? And I'm like, there's no doubt in my mind I'm not going to pick Joker first. But what I'll talk about the Joker, man, is he that good? And the answer is yes. And is he that consistent to have won back-to-back MVPs and potentially a third? The answer is yes again. When you talk about a player that is of his caliber, right? Putting up with points, scoring with efficiency, buku on rebounds, assists like he's got eyes in the back of his head. It's hard not to like I said, pick him first in fantasy. It's hard not to recognize the talent there that could win another MVP. But that's why if I was Denver, I'd be a little concerned, if I were to get a matchup against Minnesota, having Rudy Gobert, if he's going to play or not, right? That dude obviously hasn't played because he, punched his own teammate. Oh my gosh. I get the desire and the passion to want to win, but obviously that's not how you're going to get there. And of course, hey, Towns is back, and he's playing really good, except for, missing 3 months of the year. But that would I'd be concerned. That being said, I think there's no doubt in anyone's mind, or there shouldn't be at least, that no matter who plays Denver will be coming out of that first round.
In 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Look, we don't got to explain nothing because we got to move on to the next one, but just give it to me. Gun to the head.
In 5.
Phoenix Suns, Clippers. I do want to say something. Tell me if what you think about it. Don't you feel like the Western Conference standings are a little bit weird, right? I mean, just kind of looking at what we have here. You have the Warriors at 6. You got the Suns at 4th, and everyone's already talking about the Phoenix Suns should, be one of the contenders to go all the way. Do you have any thoughts on why that kind of happened with the inconsistency of the standings of usually, right? You would have Suns, Warriors up at the front.
Right. When I look at these matchups and I look at these seedings, obviously I think a big thing for Phoenix, they're probably right where they're supposed to be already, right? They, had a solid team to begin the year, didn't really come out super hot. Ayton struggled a little bit, CP3 too. But obviously having Kevin Durant on that after that big trade really just solidifies what they're going to do. I think with the Clippers there, what we really saw was a lot of load management. And that's okay if you've got a deep team like the Clippers do, especially when you're a deep team that's still very top heavy with Kawhi Leonard and, Paul George. So that really speaks to a lot of it. You look at those Sacramento Kings, and I know everybody's got to be really excited for those guys to finally break through, hit the playoffs, and go to the postseason. But more importantly, do it with super talented guys. They didn't make a big trade this year or even last year. They rode in, with De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, and those dudes are just killing it. They're role players even. You think of someone like Harrison Barnes on the Sacramento Kings. Where did that man play? Golden State. What did he learn there? How to be a champion. So Harrison Barnes is teaching those guys what they need to do to continue to win and keep their, keep their composure with them. As far as Golden State's concerned, I think obviously injuries are always going to be a tough part, especially when you have a team that has been together so long and that age and that time in those games and that wear and tear just builds up, But then again, I'd be scared to play the Warriors because obviously, if Splash Brothers get going, the defense is, really, really tuned in. They're a hard team to beat. And obviously, Memphis had a great year as well. Obviously can't hurt to have John Morant on your team and other solid role players playing obviously great defense. Though I will say for the Grizzlies, not having Steven Adams for the rest of the postseason really, really hurts their chances a lot. So That's going to be tough for them. And of course, the Lakers, again, you obviously have great superstars like LeBron James, like, Anthony Davis, but, hey, they missed time, some load management, obviously some struggles with the team and as fit, obviously having to make that move and get away from Russ. But yeah, these seedings are definitely weird, but looking appropriate to me.
The matchups are very, very juicy, man. I don't know if I'm just being biased to 2023 because it's the year we're in right now, but I look at these matchups and kind of like the storylines of everything that's been happening. Maybe not so much the first one with the Nuggets and the other two teams, but here it's like you have drama written everywhere here, in my opinion, because there's such good feel-good stories with like the Sacramento Kings, and then with the Clippers, it's like you got the Russell Westbrook and Kawhi Leonard, these, Paul George, these players that want redemption, right, in a way. And then you got Memphis and LA Lakers, like drama everywhere because, Ja Morant and everything that went down, and like the random Lofton kid coming out of nowhere scoring like 47 points, and like, is he going to play a big factor in the playoffs? It's tough, man. That's why I had to bring you in. And I haven't even mentioned Kevin Durant and Devin Booker up there. They're just like, what about us? What's going on? So Phoenix Suns or Clippers, who do you see advancing, man?
That's going to be the hardest one for me to pick because I think, obviously, Kevin Durant takes that Phoenix Suns team to a whole new level, but it is the postseason time, and Kawhi Leonard has been resting all throughout the season. And what does Kawhi Leonard do every year? When it comes to the postseason, the man amps up his game in every facet: steals, blocks, rebounds, assists, scoring efficiency. But I'm gonna just say it. It's gonna be the Phoenix Suns in 7. Sacramento and Kings and Golden State Warriors. This is gonna be also a really great matchup. A California matchup nonetheless. But of course, gotta almost always go with seasoned veterans, especially in the postseason when offenses, the defenses really tighten up in the postseason, and obviously that's what wins you championships almost all the time. So I would say Golden State in 6 in that for sure.
Like, do you like dynasties? How do you feel about dynasties?
I do like dynasties in the sense that almost every dynasty out there have one thing in common, and it's something that they hang their hat on that causes them to win consistent basketball games, right? So, I think of, obviously all those great Bulls teams. You got Michael Jordan on it. You're going to win. You're going to win every time. You think about, those super teams, with the Boston Celtics, with Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce. Again, solid players playing great defense. Superstar Heat, obviously Golden State Warriors. So, I think any dynasty type team has something they're hang their hat on and win consistent basketball, and that makes it exciting. But of course, it's always good to see an underdog.
All right, Memphis Grizzlies, LA Lakers. Man, I don't know how you're gonna crack this one, but go ahead. I want to hear.
This is gonna be a fun matchup because, I think a player like John Morant, right? Superstar player, great handles, really can get off the floor in a hurry, and obviously playing with really great role players around him that are honestly playing beyond role players and playing probably beyond their contracts. There's someone like Desmond Bane, solid player. Even someone like Dillon Brooks, and I am not a Dillon Brooks fan. The dude, I'm not going to tell him that he needs to shut up. But, what I will say is, for example, you talk about a team like the Warriors, they can trash talk because they can back up what they've done before in the past. Even Dillon Brooks right now, talking about the Lakers, talking about LeBron. The Lakers are a storied franchise. LeBron is going to end up being probably the GOAT of all GOATs at the end of the day. You can't talk trash against someone else when you really don't have anything to stand on. So anyways, for this series, it will be tough. It will be hard, and there will be a fight, but it will be Lakers in 6. There's really no question about it. It's going to be the Bucks probably in 5, for sure. Because, you talk about someone like Giannis. I'm not even going to pretend to say his name right. But the dude obviously came out and said it. I don't want to be the face of the league. I just want to be the best player I could ever be. And I think that's what he means when he says, I want to be the best role player ever. I think he's just saying he wants to be the best player that he could ever be, and not be predefined by, I'm the ultimate rebounder, I'm the ultimate scorer, I'm the ultimate, assist man, whatever. He just wants to be the best basketball player he can be, and play his role. So for sure. And of course, with Milwaukee, all those great players, playing their roles, from Bobby Portis to Chris Middleton, all those guys. Can't obviously forget about, All-Star season for Drew Holiday. That's been a real big win for them this year. The Milwaukee Bucks are dangerous, and we'll talk more about those in the future rounds.
Yeah, I mean, Milwaukee just has the power, and Budenholzer, who coached the Hawks for a long time, I guess was never really given a Giannis, right, to maybe take us to that next step. But props to him. I know they won, the finals 2 years ago.
Yep.
Which to me should have been the Hawks and the Suns. But Trae Young got stepped on by a ref. Trae Young was real quick. I'm being a little biased here, but had Trae Young not gotten injured, would the Hawks advance to the finals? Do you think that magic run would have kept going had Trae Young stayed healthy?
The thing I love about basketball is that because the game is so fast compared to other sports continuously, yes, it's like one little moment, one hair in one spot versus another spot can change everything. So yeah, 100%. I think that's a big possibility that the Hawks would have win all the way for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that meme with Vince McMahon from the WWE where he was like, he was special. He was special.
He was special.
All right. Cleveland Cavs, New York Knicks, 2 teams that, well, what can I say? We don't like the Knicks because the whole Trae Young drama, but I respect what the Knicks are, what the Madison Square Garden represents, those celebrities in the front row. I love New York, man. Like, I have mad respect for New York and New Yorkers. I got friends that live in New York, and New York's New York, right? I mean, this is going to be fun. I like seeing them because they get very excited. And then Cleveland Cavs is kind of coming not out of nowhere, but when, the Spider went over there, I didn't know what was going to happen. I kind of underestimated, who cares? But they did some work. Mobley's a beast. Cavs, Knicks.
This is a tough series for me. I think as far as the Eastern Conference, outside of being a fan of a specific team, this probably is the matchup of the first round of the Eastern Conference between the Cavaliers and the Knicks. You've already kind of spoken about it. The Knicks are a great team playing awesome basketball, for their season. I think that pickup of Jalen Brunson is huge for them. Obviously you look at someone like Julius Randle. You obviously got great other players on the team like RJ Barrett, whatnot, but it really does start with the Knicks with those two, with Brunson and Randle, and they're going to give Cleveland a lot of trouble. The problem is that there's just going to be a little bit more talent on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Number one being, of course, probably the best offseason pickup from last season with Donovan Mitchell going to the Cleveland Cavaliers is an excellent pickup, and he's just a great player for them. Really showing those guys, how to win and play really, effective basketball on both sides of the ball of the court with the offense, the defense. I think someone like Darius Garland. Yes, there you go. I think it's a super talented player. Really great size for a point guard, like 6'3", but can just shoot it lights out. And of course, you mentioned Evan Mobley, other great players on that. But yeah, I think with that Cleveland Nick, matchup, you're talking about probably going to go 6 games to Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
This is for you. I think that's what he said. Sixers and the Brooklyn Nets, who we thought, they were dismantled. Kyrie Irving left. Kevin Durant left. And then the Sixers, right, with the drama they've had last couple of seasons, but always have a good base with Embiid, James Harden, who let me down in my fantasy playoffs, who just decided to be injured when, I would have loved the Benjamin in my pocket, but that went to you, Hubert. And hey, I'm glad it went to you and nobody else. I'm glad that you made some money because, I'm glad you're in our league. But the Sixers, Brooklyn Nets,
Kyrie's not there anymore. Kevin Durant's not there anymore. They are going to lose in 4, 100% to Philadelphia. And I think the biggest reason for Philadelphia's success this postseason, potentially in any round, is going to be Embiid. He's definitely not telling everyone the truth when he says he doesn't care if he wins an MVP or not. Winning MVP is a really, really big deal. Big deal for 2 reasons. One is your legacy. And then number 2, it's the money, right? Most NBA contracts, the more accolades you win, you get, better opportunity to simply get big contracts. Not that he's not going to get it anyway because he's Embiid, but yeah, he's going to be fired up to just destroy everybody every game that he's in because he wants to prove something to everybody for sure.
The Boston Celtics lost in the NBA Finals last season. Jason Tatum has been taking over the league season by season. He's pretty much the next superstar. Well, he is a superstar in the NBA who's taking it on, right? His torch, sooner or later, he'll be the number 1 player in the NBA, I think, or at least one of the number 1 players representing the league, along with Trae Young, where there's a little bit of drama unfolding. Some people have been saying that there's rumors that the Hawks have already been exploring the possibility of trading him, which as a Hawks fan would break my heart. Trae Young jersey, like I don't want to see him go. Okay, so please just we saw what we did. We can play great basketball. I think we're one piece away, but can the Atlanta Hawks go on another magic run having the DeJounte Murray there? Now I want to say something. No matter what you pick, I'm gonna respect it. It's all good. I understand. But please let me know how you feel about these Hawks. Do they have a possibility? But go ahead and, it's all good if you don't choose the Hawks. But I just want, let us get some shine. This is our channel, so, they won't talk about us anywhere else. But, the DeJounte Murray, what a pickup, right? It's giving Trae Young that breathing room. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited what we could do to the Celtics. If we can get one out of these first 2, be careful. Be careful.
Right.
Take it away, my brother.
All right. This is going to be a tough matchup. This isn't the matchup in the to watch, or at least in the first round, because I believe that the Celtics are realizing that they need to make their move now and push now. You mentioned about the trade rumors with Trae Young. We'll talk about that momentarily, but what we really need to be talking about as far as this matchup is concerned between the Celtics and the Hawks is Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is going to be a vital piece to what the Celtics are going to try to do. Obviously, the Celtics had an amazing season putting together fantastic runs of basketball, but it's got to be worrisome for Celtics fans to hear that almost everything that Jaylen Brown has said about his future with the Celtics is kind of muddy water. And that just must scare the crap out of Celtics fans. With that said, if they don't make their push now and really just own the fact that, hey, we made the conference finals last year. We got to get there again, no matter what. They're going to have a tough time because Atlanta will be dumb to trade Trae Young. There's something about a talent like Trae Young that is really hard to find. It's not just his fire. It's not just his playmaking ability, but it's his, and it's more than just also his ability to pull up from deep with little to no effort and just splash the bottom of that net. I think what it really comes down to Trae Young is that, when I think about the basketball that he has played, that I have seen, it's some of the most beautiful basketball that I saw him play at Oklahoma in college, honestly. And what's waiting to happen is, to your point already, getting Devontae Murray, awesome pickup. But has it been a smooth, melding of those two? Kind of not really, But I'll say what was smooth and what was working for the Hawks was how they played basketball against the Heat just the other day. That was really, really solid for them. So, when I look at this matchup and I see those players, obviously, you're going to win if you're the Hawks if you have Saddiq Bey scoring 17 points. It doesn't matter if he starts or if he's off the bench. You got Bogdanovich getting you points. You got Johnson. All those guys doing a great job. Capella pulling down, 21 rebounds in that game against the Heat? Excellent. With that said, if the Hawks play that kind of basketball, they really, 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 really do have a chance to beat the Celtics, especially if the Celtics have an issue between Tatum and Brown, and they're not gelling. The Hawks could totally take this. With that said, to have some fun, Hawks in 7.
What would happen if the Hawks were to accomplish this? Would the league crumble?
I think if the Hawks win and the Celtics get knocked out in the first round, they have to entertain the idea of moving on from Jaylen Brown. And the really scary part for the Celtics is how are you going to get fair value for a guy who was borderline top 15, top 10, right? Yeah, Jaylen Brown's a solid basketball player. But like I said, if it was me, I have huge concerns hearing those kinds of statements. And it's, like I said, if it was just a one-time statement, a one-time scenario one-off, maybe not that big of a deal, but it's been multiple occurrences, and that really worries me. And it should worry Celtics fans 100%.
Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Can't come soon enough. Eastern Conference semifinals. Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns. What could happen?
What could happen here is that Kevin Durant is going to hit his stride after battling Kawhi Leonard, and Kevin Durant will lead Phoenix, and he'll do things like teach Ayton how to be accountable on both sides of the ball. He'll make CP3 feel younger, play younger. And of course, he's going to teach Devin Booker already how to do what he knows how to do, but better. And it's going to be Phoenix in 6 against the Denver Nuggets.
The game that everybody wants, the game that NBA wants, ESPN wants, Fox, all the major networks, Twitter, all the... I don't want to get into the... so many LeBron jokes, but respect to LeBron. Meaning LeBron fans, right? The LeBron fans. Shout out to the LeBron fans. They're all out there. But great respect. LeBron James is one of the greatest. I got to give flowers to who they deserve. Steph Curry's up there too. Steph Curry, LeBron James, working, they are influencing the younger generation. Players that are playing in this league right now have been inspired by these two players here. Golden State Warriors, Lakers, man. This would be fun. This is a fun matchup. This is dessert for dinner here. Talk to me, Hubert. Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers. Woof. Spicy.
what's going to be fun about this matchup is there's going to be a lot of trash talking back and forth. There's going to be a lot of, posturing because they're both, they both have players on both sides who are proven winners, in some cases proven champions. What'll be tough is, can Jordan Poole have another great postseason run, right? He had that great postseason run, got paid, stayed in Golden State, excellent. But you look at the Lakers, and they are playing the right kind of basketball at the right time. Man, it is going to be tough. I think what it'll really, really come down to is Anthony Davis going to find a way to elevate his game more? And it's crazy to say that I have a little expectation that Anthony Davis has a little more room to give. With that said, Lakers in 5.
Milwaukee Bucks, Cleveland Cavs, and not as juicy as some of the matchups that we're seeing up above. Personally, right? Bucks always in it, usually always getting this round. Cleveland new to the dance, but I've just taken out the Knicks. Can the Cavs dance with the Bucks?
Oh yes, my friend. Oh yes. One of the players that we called out earlier for the Cleveland Cavaliers and Evan Mobley, second-year player, I believe. Yeah, second-year player, excellent player. With great
fantasy player.
Yeah. Great fantasy player. I traded for. With that said, I think what will be interesting is, can someone like Donovan Mitchell, again, teach these guys how to win and play really tough basketball, but it really is going to come down to the size. Evan Mobley, I think, even as a 2-year player, doesn't get the kind of credit that he deserves for a defensive player. And you pair that with his partner in a cohort, Jared Allen, excellent center. Do they have the size? And the answer is yes. So really, it comes down to, at that point, then, can Milwaukee overcome that? Find a way to slow down Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. I don't know if they have all that. I really, really don't. So we're going to have some fun again. And it's going to be Cleveland 6.
Sixers, Hawks, they have met in this round previously in 2021 season. Very exciting series. You guys can go YouTube that. I still do that at 2 a.m. sometimes. So what can happen here? Sixers, Hawks, obviously that one time when they met up, there was no James Harden. Now there is, and he could be the difference maker if he stays healthy. Talk to me about what I hope will be happening a couple of days from now. Sixers, Hawks.
This is going to be a tough matchup because I don't feel like I can envision how this game is going to play from game in and game out, from game 1 to game 2. And then obviously heading back to Atlanta. It's going to be a really tough matchup because I don't see how anyone or any 2 bodies or even any 3 bodies are going to slow down Embiid. Like I said, the man is on a mission to prove that he is an MVP candidate and an MVP winner, and he's going to take it out on this postseason, 100%. What I think will be interesting is if Atlanta can find a way, to keep their turnovers down, keep the ball moving, flowing through Trae Young, flowing through Jamashe Murray, honestly, get quality play out of someone like John, Collins, right? That's going to be really vital for Atlanta to even have a chance, to be honest. They need to be playing their best basketball every single game, because Capella will do his best, but Capella ain't going to stop Embiid. And so it's going to be Philly in 6.
Beautiful. So it's coming down to the Final Four of the NBA. Hubert, you've made some great takes. You explained, how the situation, what's happening here with all these teams, kind of some backstories through the season, the players. We appreciate your time. We're getting close. Let's take this to the finish line. Phoenix Suns, LA Lakers. I mean, they would be going to the desert first, buzzing, but LeBron James is LeBron James, but Kevin Durant is also Kevin Durant. Battle. Big, big, big. Is the champion coming from here? We don't know. And Hubert's eyes, what happens in the desert in good old California.
This is the matchup that we've all been waiting for, to see Kevin Durant and LeBron again go at it. I think the difference maker here is going to be is that even though Durant has been on Phoenix a lot less than LeBron with the Lakers, again, Durant is going to elevate his game. He's going to teach these guys how to play like champions and win games. And yeah, I mean, the Phoenix Suns are, in my opinion, really matched up really, really well with the Lakers. And so this is going to be a great matchup. I don't think, honestly, it's going to be close. I really, really, I think it's going to be Phoenix in 5. And it's going to be pretty convincing because, Durant is hungry. And you think of those other guys. I mean, yeah, Booker, hungry. CP3, hungry. Ayton, he got paid. He's still young, but you can't not play good basketball when your teammates are Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul. You have to play good basketball. So, yeah.
Cavs, Sixers, battle for the East. Who's going to the finals?
Who's going to the finals? It is 100% Joel Embiid. We haven't obviously spoken a lot about the other quality players on Philadelphia. Someone like Maxey, obviously when healthy, when engaged, obviously Harden. Again, I'm a big, big, big Embiid fan. And I'm a big fan of the fact that I think he's, like I said, he's going to really show this postseason that he is angry and he needs to be listened to. This will be a fun series. It will go to 6, but it will be Philly coming out on top.
Kevin Durant versus James Harden. Who's going to take it? Harden is looking for a title too. You haven't really mentioned the man with the beard. All I've heard is Embiid. Does James Harden become the NBA Finals MVP, or is it Kevin Durant with Devin Booker and Chris Paul? How even or how lopsided do you see this matchup? Phoenix Suns and the 76ers. Once you get to the finals, anything can happen, right? Talk to me.
Yeah, anything can happen for sure. I think a big call out that I haven't mentioned yet with Philadelphia is their coaching. Because we all know sometimes you can live or die by the quality of your coach, right, and the coaching staff. And I think Doc Rivers is a coach with great pedigree. He knows how to get his players to play the right kind of basketball at the right time. But unfortunately, Doc Rivers is on the court. And so it's going to be up to Embiid to carry this team. And the problem is going to be he's going to run into a team with a lot of firepower. And so, man, it's going to be a little crazy because Phoenix will win it in 5.
I would have loved to, 7 for this to go into 7 games, but I do have to agree. Phoenix Suns just, they got those 3 They got that momentum. Phoenix Suns, the predicted NBA champion for the 2023 season, here at West Sports Live, but with our special guest Hubert Chan delivering the great takes today. My friend, thank you so much, man. I think it's going to be exciting. Right, these are just predictions, but I think it's great to kind of break down each of these matchups and really kind of giving the people some insight into each of these games. To conclude, Hubert, what is the tradition in your household? How do you watch these games? Are you on, do you break off the schedule? I know you got a family and stuff. Do you go back and rewatch any of these? Do you have the phone going? You got a man cave? You got a nice specialty drink? What's Hubert's plans this first weekend? 8 great matchups coming up.
Yeah. No major traditions out there. Obviously I have an NBA League Pass, so I'll be watching every game, not live, but at minimum I'll be watching every single game. So I'm really excited. I think obviously just from the breakdown of what we did with the bracket, I think the first round is really, really, really exciting. We got some great matchups, great stories there to tell. And so, what I'll probably end up doing is picking out a couple games to watch live and then watch the rest later. But what I'm really excited about is watching them with my child, Lucas. Shout out to Lucas Chan. It was a lot of fun. Most recently, I went to a Orlando Magic game with him here in Denver. And it was an awesome game to watch Paolo Banchero up live in person. We were 3 rows behind the Magic bench. It was, very, very awesome. And of course, it was a heartbreaker for us because obviously he and I were cheering our hearts out for the Magic. And of course, Jokic hits that 3 over Wendell Carter Jr. As time expires. So that was tough. But yeah, I'm going to be watching a lot of NBA basketball playoffs here, baby. I'm so excited.
Hubert Chan, thank you so much. I'll be rooting for my Hawks. I got someone in the dance fighting Trae Young. Please, man, let's prove the haters wrong. Let's take the Celtics out and let this be one of the greatest NBA playoffs ever that we ever witnessed.